Okay, hey, how's it going, guys? I hit live and right when I was turning the intersection, so you get a second of me not saying hello. I wonder how weird that is on the other end, right? But anyway, it is Zero Laugh Immortal. I am on my way up to do a workout with my buddy. So, my friends, I've had a few things on my mind. Last night, I had a dream I can't remember. So irritating. So fucking irritating. I was going through something, and intuitively it felt significant. I was helping people out with something. It's always something like that. There's always some other people, and like I'm serving some like thing that I'm there to do really good at, and I'm glad that I'm doing it, yada yada yada. And this is like the vibe check going on in my dream. I remember the vibe check, right? And I remember that things felt good, right? And at least I got the feelings like if I did have or didn't have a dream, it's most likely if the dream is kind of benign, because the feelings will be retained within me, that it's a much hazier thing. When the feeling is real strong, the memory associated with the feeling stays in connection, and I have a tremendously clear idea. I'm gonna go this way. A tremendously clear idea of what it was, and that's why I have extremely vivid dreams also. Now, I've been not much on the dreaming side of things as of late. I think my sleep cycle towards the end of my sleep is a little off kilter because I'm still ironing out my eating cycles, and I have to wake up and have a solid evacuation. Right? And so that's a certain kind of stomach upsetness that it wakes you up because it comes into that discomforting point in the first place. Right? So like you've already slept through the part of it that you could sleep through. You already were in the discomfort, but your sleep state hid it from you until it became too apparent, and the lower systems of your mind take over, and there's an admixture between the lower systems of your mind and what's going on in your dream state and how everything connects, right? So it is your human body technology and its relationship with the psychic field. So point is that it was benign, which is still a good dream because nothing bad happened in it, right? I think there was maybe a little bit of action. These are the vaguest things, right? Like the only thing I'm truly remembering is the most abstract experiential of what happened without any fucking particular details, because the only thing that remains with me is the feelings, which was that it was not a nightmare, it was not like a fight, it wasn't a high energy thing. It was a very it was the kind of thing where I was part of important dialogue and decisions that were being made, and then my part in it was over. So it's simply that I know that it happened, and that's what I'm meant to know. So as for yesterday, going to the Renaissance Fair, I had a few things I didn't mention in the last video. I forgot that Cosmic Lichens is my buddy Joe that was there with me, because I forgot that he goes by that. He rarely drops a comment, so my mind was a million miles away from it. But anyway, and I should have taken the hint because of the way he freaking said it. But anyway, so a couple little neat moments that I enjoyed that I wanted to share for no other reasons than whatever, I suppose, other than to show you aspects of what happens to me in my life regularly, being on the level that I'm in. I'm on, excuse me, right? when I'm there, I'm in my element too, because that's also part of it. So when I was at the midday joust, second joust, there's 3 jousts every day, right? Third joust is turns into a fully scripted like battle, where like 2 knights and 2 squires like kick the crap out of each other, and there's like 1 or 2 other guys get involved. But anyway, so while we were there and I'm hanging out, like I hear somebody say, "Are you all right?" or "Is he all right?" or something. Get a medic or something like that. So I turn my shoulder, and a gentleman who was just enjoying the show in the crowd was down on his back, and like 2 people had approached him to attend him, and so this happened so fast. I was just one of the immediate responders who noticed amongst the noise and stuff. So I jump over to lean in. He's already being well supported. So the one thing that my presence there is good for. I went into my bag. I grabbed this mason jar, and I left it out for him to take a couple of sips before the paramedics came. He was all right. He regained consciousness. He could stand and talk. He might have had a pinch of heat exposure. It was like around 80 degrees before the weather broke. 80 degrees humid. So it's entirely possible that he was hot. The man. Yes, this is holy water. It's been bestowed with regenerative properties by me. Can't have any, sorry. You're doing this not in a giving mood with me anymore. She gives it to me, I can't give it to anyone else. That's her rules, not mine. So there are kitties in view. Yes, there are kitties in view. And man breasts are not genitals, and therefore that is not a problem. We are living in a weird world now where an ordinary straight man has to treat his chest like genitalia. Now, I don't, other than my interest in playing with a woman's breasts, I don't treat them like genitalia. I don't think they need to be covered up. That's her fucking choice. Outside of the distractions of the workplace. I go to workplace, I put a fucking shirt on. Right? I go into private places, shirts on. It has to be fucking blistering hot as an excuse. Nobody cringes when I take my shirt off during hot yoga. Especially because of how people are impressed at what I can do in yoga. So, because it was an emergency and it was right there, I did have the goddess's permission to save a life with my bestowed water. Welcome. This is a microplastic-free, zero-water filtered water. Almost as good as getting a Berkey water filter. Not a Berkey water filter, but almost as good. So then there was another neat circumstance. My traveling about the fair, I had my war paint on, and I got a chance to hit a nice smooth line as practice. It's just practice. I didn't fucking go any further. A smooth line. I'm just walking down the thing. There's not a whole lot of people on the road or whatever. And then there's one of the ladies who's working one of the period piece fabric shops. She looks straight at me, and she's just like, "Hey, you got something on your face, sir." I'm just like, yes, you do too. Beauty. And she smiled and she blushed real wild and thanked me for saying that. I smiled, nodded, and continued on my merry way. But it's those cool little moments. You gotta have those. You gotta have those witticisms in life, and you have to have the character to back those witticisms. Because if you don't have character when you do those witticisms, you are perceived by many others around the subject of your wits as a snake, right? If you don't have the character behind it, it seems like you are being a mere charmer with your pretense of your persona, right? And the fact that, like, I played off this smooth move by making it seem like I was going to give her a cute insult in kind, but turned it into a cute compliment. Right? I think she thought I was pretty. Or cute, or whatever the heck the word is the ladies use for a guy like me. If I hit the notes, right? Because there's only a small portion of it that's looks with ladies. It's there, it's important, it matters. They're making judgment calls on physical appearance too. But also those judgment calls on physical appearance, same thing with guys though, is looking at the kind of person that they're like and into, right? By seeing what they've done with and for themselves, how they carry themselves. There's all sorts of those little meanings because the ladies are looking at your level of style and eloquence, your posture, your I'm not being superficial about this. There's a superficial way that this is done, and it became very superficial for fucking the last 20 some odd years of things, but like how much value they can bring in, right? I don't blame a woman if I can hardly fucking stand on my own 2 feet, financially speaking, right? And so I've learned just keep working on these things and just eliminate the base fucking problems. Just be slow. Stop fucking acting like you can't fucking give yourself the time to make it happen. If you've been saying that for 4 years, you've been lying to yourself because this is the product of 4 years of change. More 2.5-ish because you really didn't see it. You really didn't see it. It emerged. The change emerged 2.5 years ago. And it has set me on a higher course ever since. And my course, it's not for people that are passive or passive aggressive. My course is not for the weak. My course is not for the dull. My course is for people that feel like some level of sacrifice matters, that does believe that war is an option, and does believe that there are sad realities that sometimes your enemy is the state, sometimes your enemy is your friends. and everything in between. Because life gets socially complicated for people that grow and develop themselves and go through change, self-initiated. There's the change that's forced upon you, which isn't there to make you grow. You choose to grow when the change forced upon you happens, and that's good if you make that choice. Imagine making choices uninstigated, right? Being the causation of your change. This is why I reject the idea of being a chosen one. If you are a chosen one, stay the fuck away from me. Who the fuck chose you? God? Being the chosen one is just a microcosm of believing in the chosen people. It creates grandiosity in the dragon that must be slayed. Delusions of grandeur run prevalent. I have... Hey, what's up, Montoki? I've always worried about this in myself because of how much I cared about, like, there's nothing wrong with bravado. There's nothing wrong with confidence. There's nothing wrong with anything the way I am doing it right now, including making claims, declarative statements. Some of them possibly within what you might consider an absolute, as it's ranting about things that aren't absolute, which is why I said there needs to be room for war. Because unfortunately, you don't understand the true end, right? Because if the mind virus of the true enemy is infected in the person, they may force you to a point of bloodshed because of the consequences of their actions crossing the line in your heart, and you have to stop lying to yourself, right? You have to start by knowing yourself before you can fucking judge things by the heart anyway. And you don't have to know too much about yourself because there's an infinite amount to know about yourself. But you do need to be in the frequency of growing into oneself. This straightens out all of the fucking actions and reactions that you are afraid to do. Which is why I would jump in, not as a paramedic, but just as a stabilizer until a professional arrives and knows what he's doing competently, sees his role in the circumstances and takes that opportunity. Oh, wait, is this the exit? And takes the opportunity for no other reason than it's the right thing. And I wasn't chosen to jump in and help the guy. I made the choice to. There were dozens of people there. My heart answered the call, right? Of the awareness of the situation, right? I made a choice. I have agency. I have free will. That was not because I believe in the higher force. I just had to by compulsion because I don't have a free will anymore. No, that's not even close to it, right? Because I could have done nothing and nobody would have thought a thing, and I don't care what people think because I actually did. I mean, I do, but that's only because, like, I care about the accuracy of what is being seen. All right, I wouldn't be talking about it to you right now if I wasn't saying that anybody seeing what I would have done would have been a beautiful example of, look at him, complete stranger, jumping in to do the right thing. Man of character is the idea. But that can be a hollow gesture. You know, when you're running certain narratives in your own fucking head, you can fucking forget that there's more to what you're looking for than just, are they like this and not like that? And, oh, therefore, I understand everything about them, trust established. Maybe my enemies that used to be my friends made the same mistakes that I did, but I know that I made those mistakes. But you have to fucking embarrass yourself a whole lot, because it's the only way you're gonna actually realize important reflections that the people around you have of you. And as you see the patterns in what different reactions to you when you do what you want to do have, and any correlations therein, you start picking up on the points that you're looking for. You start getting into the depth of what you're fucking looking for, right, in yourself. And you have to not care that for them they don't like you. You have to not actually care about that part, or that you've lost their respect, or whatever, or people are going to talk about you. People are going to fucking talk about you. Then be grateful that they've told you who they are by their gossip that tells you either I want to change because they're right, or I am going to change whom I want to associate with because they are wrong. These are things that work in my underlying modus operandi that have kept me cool through a tremendous amount of failures, and some of the worst things being, you know, when conduct just runs the rails and I lose friends. And the difference is that it's not always losing friends because of conduct. The conduct might be mixed in there. The conduct might just be an excuse. You know, because ultimately you are something that they eventually see revealed because you like to be seen and to put all of these things about who you are out there on the table, right? Thinking that the only people that would fucking care would be people that fucking like all of that stuff. Right? I had foolish delusions. All of those things are things that you'll be lucky as a seeker to come across that, like you're coming across me having this fucking conversation with you on the record about it, right? Where it's being said by me as a third party before you fucking got embarrassed, which just serves the great point of letting you know you should be okay with being embarrassed. It is one of the most key things of overcoming your slavery, is abandoning that fear of the embarrassment, right? This is my whole bit. This is why I fucking stuck with shout out James True. This is why I stuck with James True. This is why I fucking sat there and said, like, I don't want to fucking make a choice. I think that there fucking should be something between James True and the Bears and everybody else. But no. Unfortunately, things like that, because James has done a lot of personal work on himself and is also embracing what he's capable of through what he sees in the world and how he perceives what he sees in the world and thinks about it. You know, he cuts on a level where it's a foundational argument that people don't want to at least have a fucking conversation over as civil gentlemen, right? It's just like, no, there's something wrong with you because your inherent foundation of values is wrong. But I can't admit that is the reason why I don't want to do that, because I think this. So therefore, I'm going to wait till you share a vulnerability with your audience as part of you coming out of your shell, and then turn it against you and say it's the reason why you're doomed to never grow, and yada yada yada, and destroy people's self-esteem. And what the fuck does that accomplish? Precisely, dick. The shaming, embarrassing, important. But yeah. And there are all sorts of social structures that use this mentality. You know, especially if the charismatic one just calls for it. All you need is a charismatic person to tell a mob to do it. That's when we say it's cult-like, but not a cult, right? Because it's not coming from them being some ultimate principle, right? It's because they look at them and say, like, it's like, you know, like, this is our buddy such and such. And just, it only pops up under circumstances of who's in and who's out. Otherwise, there is no fucking leader. But there's always that one person who is like the fucking Axis Mundi, who says yes or no in my personal circle. And then everybody wants to be that person's friend. And it's not a fucking cult thing, it's just a fucking social hierarchy thing, right? And so that can be weaponized in cults. But anyway, I gotta get going. Thank you so much, Monte Key. Thank you so much, everybody. Peace out.